All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are throwing down here in our finals of the Elestrals Daybreak Premier Webcam Tournament. Swolelax looks like they're starting this one off with, I believe, an expend to draw. And we'll see a Mustation hit the field here on Jyak, and Mustation immediately puts some pressure on as he can hit for 1 Spirit of damage to Swolelax. And he's going to set a couple back row as well. Swolelax will take a Spirit of damage here. And the crab is doing its thing. I know the layout doesn't say finals. My editor messed up. I'm waiting for an updated layout. Swolelax here going to grab a Thunder Spirit and throw down his Jolton. Jolton very big. Mustation going to be forced to expend a Water Spirit to activate its effect, ensuring that Jolton cannot attack over him. That's the one thing about Mustation. This is a card that didn't see a ton of play up until the last few events, and that 6 attack stat, essentially, when it swaps its stats, has proven to be really good. I think initially a lot of players wrote it off because it was an expensive effect. You have to pay every time you use it, but it proves to be very, very strong in scenarios like this where you can send it out and hit over a lot of threats because of that. So Swolelax got a couple different options here. We'll see if he's going to set any back row. He does have his stadium, obviously, with Mount Olympus. There's 3. He's going to go for the Zeus. Zeus is going to hit this field with 3 spirits. He will use the Zeus to drop the stats of that Mustation down to 3 attack, ensuring that Jolton can hit over him. And let's see what's next. It's going to be the Mount Olympus as well on Swolelax end. And another Thunder Spirit, and it's going to be the race to the top. So Swolelax doing everything he can in that turn to ensure that that Mustation does not sit there. And if you're Jyak, honestly, I feel like if you're Jyak, you're feeling pretty good about that. Because think of how many spirits Swolelax just had to utilize to clear that Mustation. So, and there's another one. So Mustation hits the field a second time, will use its expend effect, and now can attack over. But Altar of Stars is here. Altar of Stars going to allow him to switch the position of that Mustation to defense by simply nexusing from his Zeus onto his Jolton, forcing Mustation to defense. This is indeed game 1. So big plays there from Swolelax with Altar of Stars. Let's see what else he's cooking up. It's going to be the Elestrals from Swolelax. That will allow him to search his deck for another Zeus. Not necessarily what he's looking for, right? Like the Zeus doesn't get you a whole lot here, but what it does do is it thins your deck a little bit more. So the question that Jyak has to decide is, am I going to use my Mustation effect here? Probably not. Does Jyak want to Gorgon's Gaze this search? The reason why you might want to do this, not necessarily, again, so much for the search, but more so, he's going to Poison Tipped Arrow, actually. Poison Tipped Arrow comes off from Jyak. That will hit the Elestrals and make it so there's 1 potential less threat at the end of the turn. But Swolelax will indeed get to search out that Zeus and add it to his hand. So now he's got the double Zeus, which, again, may or may not matter. It gives you an opportunity to drop something down 6 if you really wanted to. Let's see what his next play is going to be. It's going to be the Earthquake. Swolelax dropping the Earthquake down, ensuring that Mustation is not going to live to see another day. This is actually a really big play from Swolelax, clearing the crab off the field, and now has a chance to hit for 3 here with Jolton and Elestrals. It'll be interesting to see if Jyak has a Tsunami to protect him here or not. Here comes the Elestrals attacking for 1, and Jyak looks like he's taking at least 1. He'll take the 1, and it looks like he's going to take 3 here. And then he'll end up expending an additional spirit for Poison Tipped Arrow, which will clear out the Elestrals at the end of the turn. So a big swing there for Swolelax. That was kind of the turn he needed. The question is, will Jyak's consistent beatdown deck be able to turn out another Elestral this turn? He's dropped 2 crabs onto the field so far. Will he have a 3rd Elestral now? He does, and it's a Boom Bat. That looks like an A-Drive sign Boom Bat. I can't confirm or deny, but it certainly looks like it. He will disenchant off the Boom Bat and kaboom into that Jolton and take it out. So Jyak does find the Elestral, but it's one that doesn't stick around for very long. We see, I think, an expend to draw from Swolelax there. That was an opportunity for Swolelax to actually gain field control, and he's forced to expend to draw. That's tough because now Jyak has a chance to really take control of this one if he can find an Elestral, something like a Galaxy. If he has Jatagua, that would actually be really strong here, especially with all those Water Spirits that he threw away. But he is also going to expend to draw. So both casters vying for position, trying to find an Elestral to hit the field. Swolelax, does he find one? No, he's going to expend to draw again. Swolelax forced to expend to draw. Will set a back row. I count 6. and I think 8. This one is very close. Jyak, if he finds an Elestral here, though, he's going to put Swolelax on the back foot. Going to pass his turn. Jyak draws for his turn. With all the Elestrals he's running, certainly. There it is. Galaxy hits the field for Jyak and will attack. Any response? A Shield of Achilles, perhaps? Yes! Shield of Achilles on Swolelax, and that was big. That's going to bounce him back and give Swolelax an opportunity to take the field here. Does he find an Elestral finally? And it isn't an Astrabbit. That would be big for him. It is! The bunny hits the field for Swolelax. He's almost certainly looking for Ambrosia from the top of his deck. Will Jyak respond with a Gorgon's Gaze here to shut this down? If you're Swolelax, again, you are almost certainly looking for Ambrosia right now. Got plenty of cards in his hand to choose from. The question is, which one of these 3 that he looked does he want the most? He figures it out, decides what he wants. We'll shuffle the rest back, and let's see what he's got. There's a Thunder Spirit. And there's the Ambrosia. Who saw that one coming? Ambrosia hits the field to heal him up and get him up to 5 spirits now. Now, the real question is, does Swolelax have the back row support to keep this rabbit alive? Another Ambrosia! He found a second one. And now he's up to 7. Swolelax hanging in this clash. He will be able to chip for 1 here with Rabbit. But again, the real question is, does he have a way to stop Galaxy? He's going to set that whole back row to ensure that he can threaten the Galaxy on the upcoming turn. Jyak will indeed take a Spirit of damage. And the turn will pass over to Jyak as he now has an opportunity to respond. We know he's got the Galaxy. If you're Swolelax, Altar of Stars is pretty big here. I think that that's an ideal card to have face down because you can utilize your Zeus or your Olympus to make it work. Race to the top is going to be big if Swolelax has it. Those are the things that we're going to be looking for here in these last couple turns. We know Jyak's strategy. Let me get a big guy down and try to take out the rabbit. Tsunami's not going to work against Galaxy. But again, that Altar of Stars could prove to be so crucial. It's going to be Equalinx. Wait a minute. Jyak drops an Equalinx onto the field. Does he have a Demeter to follow it up? It looks like he does not. Just a simple Equalinx, and it's going to be met by that Altar of Stars. Exactly as we anticipated. 1 spirit for Altar. That will indeed shift the Equalinx to defense. The question is, where is Swolelax grabbing it from? He's going to grab it off the Mount Olympus. That makes me wonder if Swolelax has a second Olympus in his hand. You could swap your Rabbit to defense, or you swap the Lynx to defense. Depends on what Swolelax is looking to do on the upcoming turn. But he will swap the Lynx to defense. I think that's a wise choice. And Rabbit resolves. And let's see what Swolelax wants to grab. We saw him grab 2 Ambrosias already. So Rabbit going to get a big proc here. And again, each one of these cards so crucial. With Swolelax getting rid of his Mount Olympus, it does make me wonder if he already had that combo or simply wasn't looking for it. Because to me, that when you have Olympus on the field, Race to the Top is so big. He's going to grab that card. He made his choice. It is Swolax's turn. This is his opportunity to make a big play. 3 back row. Here comes a Thunder Spirit. It's going to be a Toxeon. We saw this card come in so clutch at the end of the last round in the semis. Toxeon will burn for 1. Jyak immediately threatened by this. And there's a Gorgon's Gaze, so Jyak forced to use 2 spirits to stop Toxeon's effect. This does a couple things. It stops the 1 burn that you're going to take, and it also prevents the Toxeon from hitting over the Equalinx, which means that if you're Swolelax, you have an opportunity here. You can use your Zeus to drop the defense. He does go Mount Olympus. Does he have the Race to the Top? He threw down the Olympus. It tells me he's got Race. Race to the Top is huge here. He's just going to attack with Rabbit at 4. The Mount Olympus gets him to 4. That's what he was doing. And Shield of Achilles is here. Jyak will indeed bounce the Rabbit back to Swolax's hand. Down to 1 spirit, I believe, on Jyak's end to Swolax's 4. This one is so incredibly close. If you're Jyak, you need to clear Toxeon this turn. Otherwise, this game's over. We might see Jyak drop down some Ambrosias, though. We haven't seen him use any yet, I don't believe. And actually, if you're Swolax, another thing you can do here that's very interesting is if you have Altar of Stars, you can actually win the game just off of that. There's the cast on Mudlet. Does he have the Altar? He wins the game if he has Altar right now. He's got Gorgon's Gaze. Okay, so Gorgon's Gaze pulled off the Zeus. That's going to be 1 spirit to play Gorgons. It's going to shut down the Mudlet and prevent it from using its effect. So Toxeon stays in attack position. That's massive because now Equal Links can't attack over. He's gonna pull the spirit off the bundlet to go for Ambrosia to heal himself back up to 3. Wow. Huge Ambrosia play there. But he's not out of the woods yet by any means. Toxion threatens immediately. Mudlet is off the field. Equal Links is there and it's still doing things, but Jyak needs a Demeter real bad right now. If he has it, that might be the turning point of this one. Does he have the Demeter? He's gonna set one. He's gonna switch Links to attack. And it looks like he passes his turn. Swolelax draws. His Toxion is indeed stronger than Links. We know he's got Astrabbit as well in hand. He could play Rabbit and look for Race to the top. Let's see if that's what he does. There's the Rabbit. He's in attack position. He's gonna look. If he finds Race to the top, that could be the game. Swolelax adds to hand. 3 spirits to 2. Swolelax with 3 on field. Jyak with 1 on field. He grabs a spirit. It's a Zeus. He disenchants the Zeus to hit the Equal Links. Tsunami would be devastating right now. Rabbit attacks. The Links down to 1 attack. Facing down a 3 attack Rabbit from the Mount Olympus. Links goes down. Toxion hits. Hits for 1. Jyak down to 2 spirits to go. Swolelax only with 1, but 3 on field. Here comes Galaxy again. Does Swolelax have an answer for it? Rabbit could get taken down here. Actually, if you're Swolelax, if you just enchant Toxion next turn, burn for 1, then you attack Galaxy and crash and win. Actually, you don't even crash because Olympus gets you over it. This is going to be very interesting here. Rabbit does go down. I think Swolelax, if he has a Thunder Spirit, he enchants Toxion, hits for the 1, and then just attacks. But he may not have a Thunder Spirit. He may have been saving something. There's the re-enchant. Is there a response on Jyak's end? I don't think there's anything he can do. He takes the 1. Toxion free to attack. He attacks the Galaxy. Galaxy goes down and Swolelax takes the first game of this best of 3. All right, it's time to dive into game 2 of our best of 3 finals here. Jyak, the 2-time back-to-back Elestrals champion, taking on Swolelax. Up 1-0 here in this best of 3. Swolelax looks like he's going to be going first in this one, it seems. Jyak had the opportunity to decide who goes first, and Swolelax will kick this off with a very nice consistency play, Jolton. We saw how big Mount Olympus was in that game, allowing the Thunder deck to have a chance against some of those big attackers that Jyak was rocking, the Mestations, the Galaxies, the various high stat Elestrals. Mount Olympus is the equalizer, and that's something that I look to see as the metagame develops here over the next couple months in Daybreak, is whether we'll see a rise in stadium usage. Mount Olympus and Thunder is really the deck that uses it the best, but we're gonna see a poison-tipped arrow fly off here from Swolelax, immediately responding to the Elechick. The Elechick will allow the search for Jyak. We'll see what Divine he's running, and it is the Demeter. That was the one card it felt like Jyak was missing in game 1. He had the Equal Links, he was set up for it, but he never had his Divine Rune Demeter to give that Equal Links the rune pressure that it so desperately needs, which is really what allows Demeter and Equal Links to do its thing. We'll see Demeter hit the field, 3 spirits on it. Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, is here. And that +3 buff that Demeter can provide to Elechick could be the difference of this Jolton going down. And it is. Jolton does go down. Swolelax will expend. And that's going to get rid of the Elechick at the end of the turn with Poison-Tipped Arrow. Swolelax drawing for a turn, reaching for a Spirit deck, opting to expend to draw. Saying, you know what, there's no Elestrals on the field. This is my opportunity to do this. And there's a Thunderstorm! Huge play from Swolelax. You don't expect that. He strikes down the Demeter and gets it off the field big. That is actually massive. You love that Spirit trade there too. Here comes Mestation though. The Crab doesn't need to use his effect this turn. He can just come out and hit for 1, but the Poison-Tipped Arrow comes off from Swolelax. He's got another one, and he'll clear it at the end of the turn. So another Poison-Tipped Arrow coming off there for Swolelax, getting rid of the Mestation. He's got an opportunity to cast another Elestral. Is it Rabbit? No, it's Elechick. That'll get him a Zeus if he wants it. And I'm curious if we'll see that Mount Olympus hit the field as well. But here comes Zeus. There it is. He found his Olympus. He found his Zeus. Really key pieces for Swolelax and his Thunder deck to be able to Nexus Spirits around with cards like Altar of Stars, utilize your Toxion and Astrabbit to the most effectiveness, and ultimately continue to apply pressure. He's going to throw down that 1 spirit. This will be the Mount Olympus. That's going to turn Elechik into a 5 attacker, and he will attack for 1. Jyak reaches for a spirit deck and takes the 1. And now it's back to him, up by 4 spirits. But Swolelax has 2 on field, so a little closer than that. Here comes Jyak. He's going to go with the Boom Bat. Boom Bat hits the field. Let's see if Swolelax has a Gorgon's Gaze here. There's the Disenchant, and the Elechik is gone. So I think if you're Swole, you don't hate that trade because you still have a chance to get another Elestral out, and he's going to find it. There's the Rabbit. That's even better if you're Swolelax. You keep your Rabbit around and lose your Elechik to a Boom Bat. Rabbit's going to go for the top 3 and add 1 to hand. This is a really big one. If you're Swolelax, there's a few key cards that you're probably looking for here. You're probably looking for a Race to the Top that really helps you remove another Elestral later. You might be looking for a little bit more back row, or you could be looking for something like an Ambrosia at this point in the game to kind of fortify your spirits and ensure that you can hang in there just a little bit longer as you are down a few here to Jyak and his incredibly spirit-efficient deck. Astrabbit's one of those cards that on the counter rune side, you generally don't want to respond to in these situations. Poison Todero is great against it. Gorgons can be good in some situations, but you don't want to be shielding Achilles Astrabbit here. That's generally ill-advised. There's a really cool Galaxy. I love that. One of my favorite arts, by the way. Galaxy comes down. We saw Swole use Shield of Achilles earlier, but Gorgon's Gaze is huge. Oh my goodness. That is so huge. Gorgon's Gaze turns off Galaxy's swap effect, making it a 2 attacker, and Astrabbit has 3 attack because of Mount Olympus, so Galaxy crashes into Astrabbit and goes down. That could be the turning point of this clash for Swolelax. Does he have another Elestral to follow up? The re-enchant Astrabbit here. That's going to give him another look. Do we see a Gorgon's Gaze? No. 3 cards from the top. Swolelax has another chance to find that Ambrosia or Race to the Top. Gorgon's Gaze on Galaxy. That's the one thing about Galaxy that really can make it feels bad. Both Gorgon's Gaze and Dense Fog completely ruin otherwise an incredibly powerful Elestral, and it works out there for Swolelax. He counts up his spirits. I have him at 6 to see if it's 6 or 5. Does he have an Ambrosia follow-up here after that, or is he just going to go combat? He'll pull 1 off the Rabbit to play the Ambro. Smart play there, opting to get a full 3 spirits recovery back as opposed to just the +2 you get. Swolelax sitting at 9, feeling a lot better about that. We've seen Jyak run out the Boom Bat and then the Galaxy. It makes me feel like Jyak may not have another Elestral, so he's going to be looking to draw an Elestral here, because if you had the Galaxy before in the Boom Bat, you would have played it against the Elechik most likely, although the Olympus was out there. Unsure there, but there's another Galaxy, so he does find it. Does Swolelax have another Gorgon's Gaze? No shot, right? Altar of Stars this time. That's going to mean he's going to lose his Mount Olympus, but what he can do is shift the Galaxy defense and get an Astrabbit hit here. Not going to be able to use Race to the Top now, but does get another Rabbit proc, and that's really big because he keeps Rabbit around for another turn, and after all these Rabbits, he may have another Mount Olympus, he may have a Race to the Top. We'll have to wait and see. Continuing to utilize his Astrabbit to maximum effectiveness. Galaxy sitting in defense. There's 3 back row that you got to deal with now. A lot of cards in hand, a lot of opportunities to make a play here, but this decision, pivotal for this game. Is it the Toxion? It is the Toxion! This is how he won game 1. He found Toxion at that late part of the game, and he started the chip down because of it. He'll take the 1 spirit of damage from the Toxion. The thing is, Mount Olympus is no longer there to help Rabbit hit over the Galaxy, so we'll see if Swolelax opts to use something like a Zeus here, or if he's just going to let the Toxion attack and try to hit over it. If there's back row on Jyak's end, it could be really, really detrimental. I think Swolelax has less spirits than I have him at. What do you guys have for spirits?
He's at 6, I'm at 7.
Cool. I was off a little bit there. Very, very close, though. He's going to pull 1 off Rabbit to play another Ambrosia. So now Swolelax up to 9. The double Ambrosia pulling off the Rabbit. I love that for a couple reasons. It ensures that you're not overextending with your Rabbit. You're getting the maximum heal potential. And now you just need to get rid of the Galaxy. Does he have the opportunity to do so? 9 spirits to 7. That Toxion is so incredibly important in this clash. It's going to be a double Zeus, isn't it? There it is. Zeus comes down onto the field. The disenchant from Swolelax. He's going to drop the defense of the Galaxy. Rabbit can hit. Is there a tsunami here? No, Galaxy goes down, and Toxion hits for 1. Absolutely mega. Jyak takes another Spirit of damage. Does he have an Elestral to follow up? He needs an Elestral so badly here to follow up. Swolelax has Jyak on the ropes. Toxion proven to be so impactful. Zeus being the equalizer. Mount Olympus has been big. Jyak has run out Elestral after Elestral. Moustache Galaxies, Boombats, but hasn't been able to stick any sort of a field presence. It's going to be a rabbit of his own this time. Perhaps the exact card he needs. Poison Tipped Arrow is so big, though. Absolutely monumental by Swolelax. Poison Tipped Arrow means that Rabbit's gone at the end of the turn, which means that Toxion and Rabbit on Swolelax end can begin the barrage. Jyak has won the last 2 premier tournaments of Elestrals up against Swolelax, who has him up against the wall. Swolelax expends for Poison Tipped Arrow, and Rabbit goes down. 5-5 deadlock here. Swolelax re-enchants Toxion. That's gonna be a burn for 1 on Jyak. Swolelax goes for another Spirit. Another Ambrosia! Swolelax finds all 3 Ambrosias in these last 2 turns and heals up big time. Absolutely massive, opting to not pull it off the Toxion. He does set 1, he will attack for 3. Does Jyak have an answer? A Tsunami is really the only thing. He takes 1, 2, and it looks like he took 3. 1, 2, 3, down to, I believe, 1 Spirit. All Swolelax needs to do is keep his Toxion around for 1 more turn. Up 6-1 with 4 on field. Ambrosia's here. Ambrosia's here. Jyak hanging on. Getting those last couple Spirits. Opting to grab up to 3, it looks like. And it's a Lavalith. Oh, baby. Lavalith is huge. He clears the back row, which was raced to the top. Lavalith takes out the Toxion. No Spirit damage is taken. He has the Zeus. Swolelax with a Water Spirit. It's an Eddie. Eddie shifts Lavalith to defense, meaning that Zeus and Rabbit can hit over it. Eddie. Absolutely massive play by Swolelax. The Eddie to respond to the 1 of Lavalith. That will shift Lavalith to defense and ensure that both Eddie and Astrabic can attack over it with the effect of Zeus. Tsunami does not stop both Elestrals. Shield doesn't stop it. GG doesn't stop it. Swolelax is in the driver's seat. This one might just be over right here, right now. I don't even know what card could save the game here. Lavalith goes to defense. Zeus disenchants. Hits the Lavalith and brings it down to 1 attack, or 1 defense rather. Eddie attacks. It's Tsunami proof. Lavalith goes down. Rabbit attacks. 1 Spirit down, and Swolelax wins with an incredible 2-0. Absolutely nuts. So big. And you see the back row, shields and PTAs and equal inks. Coastalith shows up for Swolelax, and Swole wins the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely nuts.